you look
now?
at 22.
22.
22.
He's 22 years
He said,
old.
back in my day.
Right.
Let the record show, back in my day, to you and I mean totally different things.
Yeah.
But okay, go on.
I just, you don't know what you're signing up for. You know, when you come in, it's almost like you're, you know, bandana on your eye. You don't really know until you get a few years under your belt. You kind of know what you're preparing yourself for.
For those that are ready to type an essay in my comments before any bits of the video can even play, go ahead. And if it's such a ridiculous idea, then why even click on the video? Now, I promise you, if you keep watching, you will realize that this statement is not as preposterous as it may sound originally. Now, today we'll be analyzing the rise of D'Angelo Russell and also looking at where his game can go from here. The facts are that, you know, both of these players, James Harden and D'Angelo Russell, are lefties, will not be the driving point of the video. As you will see other NBA stars that D'Lo is on track to become if he takes the right steps. This is the prediction based on the series of events that have transpired, where it shows that if he stays on track, D'Lo will be just as good, close to as effective, or good as James Harden currently is. Now I'm going to shout out our last winner of our prediction on the MVP matchup in Milwaukee versus Houston, my man Nishan Bilazarian. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. My man definitely predicted the closest to the actual score. He predicted the Bucks would beat the Rockets 107-98, where he was 5 points off of the mark and would have had the ability to win a jersey that game if he had it correct on the money. Now, congrats once again. If you're new to the channel, definitely click that subscribe button and the bell next to it. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later. Praise up to the Most High. Let's get it. To begin with, D'Angelo Russell and his NBA scout profile before being drafted was being compared to Penny Hardaway and Brandon Roy, two big combo guards who could light you up and run an offense. Credited to being extremely efficient at running the pick and roll, which he was. D'Angelo was always gifted at creating shots in the mid-range and from the outside with a great sense of using head fakes and a tight handle to keep defenders off balance. He has a 6'9" wingspan and a 6'5" frame, and was and is a big point guard by NBA standards. Now, his weaknesses pointed out at the time were his lack of defensive intensity and that his shot selection at times was questionable. However, with a great set of eyes to see the floor on a three-dimensional level, he was prone to trying and squeezing unnecessary passes. James Harden was also a player who was directly compared to Manu Ginobili and Brandon Roy, similarly to D'Lo. Now, in isolation situations, he had a variety of tricky and shifty moves that enabled him to basically just get by his defenders, along with a deceptively quick first step. Now, he was known for being skilled in terms of his scoring, vision, and playmaking ability, and used his strength and size to make drives to the cup. Now, his jab step was noted at the time for being extremely effective at getting defenders jumpy, and because of this, basically out of the triple threat, he was known to be very difficult to defend. Now, however, he was just, look, man, he was noted for having a deficiency in his mid-range game. That's just the truth. He was also known to be turnover prone in college, which was attributed to being asked to do too much, along with his right hand needing work. From their initial college scouting reports, we can see that both were seen as 1 and 2 6'5" guards that were southpaws, who had a great feel and understanding for the game, had the ability to be a facilitator and take over the scoring load when necessary. Both have the ability to make everything look easy, which is what is looked for in a superstar offensive player, and you use more skill and athleticism in their game. And both were also known for a lack of defensive intensity, and both were basically turnover prone at times. Now, here we see their player identities when entering the draft were not so different, with D'Lo getting drafted number 2 to the Lakers, and James Harden being drafted number 3 to the Thunder. I'm not going to highlight both players' first couple years with their initial squads because they were in two completely different situations, and everybody knows the story of both's early years. Now, both players were in situations at the time where they were led to being traded to a team that was willing to take a chance on them to blossom into superstars, with Brooklyn trading all-star center Brook Lopez to the Lakers for Timothy Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell, and the Houston Rockets trading Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, along with 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick for James Harden, Cole Aldridge, Daquan Cook, and Lazar Haywood after the Thunder were unable to work out an extension with Harden. Now, when looking at their breakout years after being traded, both were able to transform their teams into playoff contending teams and exponentially improved once given the opportunity. In James Harden's 2012-2013 season, he straight up showed out, averaging 25.9 points per game, 5.8 assists per game, and 4.9 rebounds per game at shooting guard at 23 years old, making everybody wonder just what the hell was OKC smoking and thinking, not giving him more money to keep him. Now, James that year also had the opportunity to show what his full repertoire was offensively, getting the opportunity to start all 78 of the regular season games on 38.3 minutes per game, leading the Rockets to a 45-37 record. He was a monster that year, basically, and he earned his first All-Star nod, and definitely deservedly so. Now, he had shown people that he was more than just a six-man to KD and Russ's squad, but that he also had the capabilities to lead a franchise to the playoffs as their best player and as a star in the league. Now, since then, we know the story with James Harden, his progression as an MVP level volume scorer in the league. Also, we got to give a quick shout out to Richard Ladines or Ladines. Got to make sure I pronounce his name right. Definitely shout it out in the comments. When I asked the question on my poll last week about if by removing revisionist history was moving D'Lo a bad move at the time, he so accurately put it, end quote, the D'Lo situation was like when you break up with your girl because she's letting herself go and getting sloppy, then she puts in work after and is a dime again. LA and D'Lo weren't right for each other, end quote. Now, I believe that this trade to Brooklyn was definitely vital to his growth, and D'Angelo Russell is having a very similar year or similar season to the 2012-2013 season for Harden, receiving his first All-Star nod this year, leading the Nets to the number 6 seed during a year when the Nets had no expectations to win, along with their expected record being 37-38 at the beginning of the year, before up-and-coming player Caris LeVert got hurt and nobody expected them to produce. Now, D'Angelo has shown this season that he has matured from his past, and no moment could be better to basically show this better than when the Nets played Boston. After dropping 14 points in the third, he was benched over not going hard after a 50-50 rebound and picking up a foul. Head coach Kenny Atkinson benched him, and now instead of responding like a diva, like how an NBA All-Star in his position would probably do, he stated this: whatever coach's decision was, I'm buying with it. He's got us this far, so I'm trusting his moves. I missed a rebound, a 50-50 play that set him off a little bit. I've got to be better, something I've got to think about going into the next one, end quote. In that game, D'Angelo was hot on offense, but his lack of effort got him benched and his team lost the game. All while he was on pace, to be an all-star potential selection and showed the poise of a 9-year vet in that situation. What it does for your team is that it shows every player worse than you on that roster. It shows they have to follow suit too, because the best player can listen to coach. Why can't you? If the best player buys in, why can't you? So this understanding of the maturity aspect of the game has truly aided in D'Angelo's development, in addition to his work in the lab and slowing down in the game. Now, Kenny Atkinson put it best when he was explaining how D'Lo asked him to start coaching him and coaching him hard, end quote. Some guys say that and they don't follow up on that. He followed up on that. As a staff, I don't think we've ever coached a guy harder than we've coached D'Angelo. We're on him. He really is taking it like a man and has accepted the bad with the good, end quote. When asked about Russell's dedication to improving during the offseason, Atkinson also stated, end quote, that guy never left the building. He really bought into what we're doing, end quote. However, here's where I want to start looking at how D'Angelo may be different from Harden and how he may be an improvement on Harden's mold as a player. D'Angelo, unlike James, is not heavily reliant upon the friendly whistle. And while I give Harden credit for being able to draw fouls, D'Angelo shoots about 2.5 free throws a night, while James shoots about 11 during this season. This is a huge difference and can help explain the difference between the two off the rip in regards to their games. D'Lo has also shown himself to be a violent volume scorer throughout the course of this season, similar to James, with D'Lo dropping 27 in the fourth, 44 for the game against the Kings in that monster comeback, scoring 30-plus points in 14 games so far this season, and became the first player in 50 years to score 70-plus points over 2 games without attempting a single free throw. Think about how crazy that is. Didn't go to the free throw not once in 2 games and scored over 70. Now, to show you that if D'Lo had more minutes, he could possibly be having the same level of production as James Harden. As it stands, even though D'Lo plays about 7 to 8 less minutes per game than James Harden, both players are the only players in the NBA currently with 1,500 plus points, 500 plus assists, and 200 plus 3-pointers. And to keep it a buck, D'Lo is just straight up icy, man, at the end of games, man. This dude, multiple times I saw him activate and take over the game and to lead his team to victory. And I gotta be honest, D'Lo, if he stays on this track, will be as good of a player, if not better, than Harden. D'Lo has never seemed to back down from a big moment, and from an eye test has a better understanding of the game than most NBA point guards, and is a lock to be a star in the future. I believe that the LA trade, along with other factors, really forced D'Lo to take a hard look in the mirror and improve his approach to the game. Now we see him dropping people, splashing threes, making floaters, dishing dimes, and leading a team lacking in playoff success to a chance at being able to go at one of the contenders in the East D'Lo has officially broken out. Now, while, I know he may not start scoring like James Harden this season, please just go watch some of the Nets games, man, and look at how lit he has that bench. Look at how he takes over games in the second half. And look at his composure at all times of the game. And tell me this man is not a killer. Now, I'd like to thank all of you guys for the support once again. And if you haven't subscribed yet, my guy, click that red button and definitely that bell as well to stay updated on hot NBA videos just like this. Please let me know down below, who would you start a team with right now if you're a lottery team, D'Angelo Russell or Karl Anthony Towns? Both 2015 NBA lottery picks, both all-stars. Let me know who you got, and definitely the best explanation for each side gets a shout out in the next video. Now, you already know not to be mad at me, but be mad at yourself for being an underachiever. Play the outro.